love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with his peace. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. In the bright glow of the dawn, I see myself clearly, bringing in a new day. The old way of doing things is done. I don't care what you say. Monsters don't sleep under your bed. They sleep inside your head. And if you haven't done the shadow work and left behind is where you stay. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the street. We got protect plus homeschool. Our babies is a must. They not just no moms, but also no pops. Expola, worshiping pedophiles. Wanna feed our children's spirits to robots. Turn all of us from carbon-based to silicone-based. Should be where the shit show stops. Get back to doing for ourselves. Water system irrigation and grow crops. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. I'm saying I'm not some master teacher. No, am I some pastor or preacher? Was released from prison with this passion to speak of. After doing 25 years in the beast cuffs. Realize they tried to teach us spiritual, mental, physical diet. They tried to feed us the fire of our ancestors resides in each of us. With that, I'm inspired to turn this heat up. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to war with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets.
We're really approaching almost like it's a Frankenstein moment. And they're framing it to us as, innovation, right? We should all be so excited that this is happening. And, I equate it to like the Golem, bringing in like these robots. They would like to feed our life force to learn us in every tiny detail, not to empower us, but to actually transform us into a robotic simulation that is under their full control.
Nah, bro. Come on, bro. Nah, come on. You almost there, bro. Almost there. Survive.
I do it dance for Chi-Town. Who am I but Chi-Town? You young fool, I'm too fly to just slide down. Blue sky but high ground. My crown slash helmet. So my aircraft stealth spit. Can't be tied down or even sheep belted. I look down, I see green like a Celtic. My heat pulverizes, the cheese is melted. The remnants of cash money, I dispelled it. You did the fusions in my eyes, I beheld it. The finger fucked the cards, my hand, I dealt it. Felt the vibrate from the gut of my pelvic. We bust all on some ice and some veil shit. So radiant, I keep a dark room well lit. Cause you little goofies are well quick. Body for real monkey velvet. Body you not for marches of females clip. As a kid, all I did was fight. I did the bit with a knife. I know I can spit my flows to shit. To a fly though, haters wanna crucify a real man. I still stand with the silver hand, but we're Hiller man. It's not Cypress Hill, I'm Turtle Sheep. I'm one tough cookie, I don't follow, I set standards. To catch me, you gon' have to do more than scamper. Need more than scanners, I'm off the radar. I am as you goofies play God. Some worship the Christ, others pray to Allah. Chase a high, drink paper or bruh. You stagnated, while I straight evolve. At a rate, I'm data space AC, y'all. Buster stuck in the cage, face face off. After it shake the state, use a fake, they fraud. Battlestar intergalactic, my mindset, perfect comes from practice, so I rhyme best. I excel like I'm climbing the step. You got a lot to learn. I am adept, you of no concern. I am a threat. My measurement, width, lift, height, and depth. I'm just piloting up, flying a jet, spray the adversary. Martial Chronicles like Ray Bradbury. I'm a thorough guy, goddammit. Symmetric apparel of a fly bandit. Mohawk, aviators, aerodynamics, and it's like I'm an arrow in precise transit. A Christmas Carol lives with your fans get. The rules and pearls what I transmit as a transcript, or I just spit it off the top. It's either shit or get off the pot. This shit's hot.
Wants to get his own crew. Everybody wants to get his own crew rich, and then they want the other little people never get a piece of the pie. And don't wanna go for the better. And go for you niggas that think that y'all big too. I understand this. That's why you niggas and crackers can't stand me. You niggas just know that I know you can't do nothing if you're broke. Listen to me, young people and old people too. Mostly black people. I'm talking to you.
So, y'all really thought that I was done with y'all? Nah, I'm really down on y'all. Fellas up. We not going back and forth about this or that, whether your word is bond or whack. Here's a big fat, yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, Big Mac, whether earth is round or flat. We want our shit back. Enough with the chit chat. I see through the side ops. Looking past the shine spot. Third eye gang side flops. I don't eat pork, but I will fry cops. For foes, my heart's cold as an icebox. I'm saying that ops. From the sky box, I got scope on you pilgrims. The scope with some real ones. Some of our folks are still dumb. Yeah, and blind to the fact that love, we gon' have this real show. Warrior spirits inside me. That's where it's real from. The world's a stage, they have the page. Shrimp is played out, they keep us engaged, placate or rage. This is played out, rules of a dying society should be disobeyed out. Forehead and knees off the floor, should have been prayed out. The draft is on, go with no issue. Could've bloated in tissue, now it's control who blows the whistle, to who holds the pistols. The debate was about who holds who the fizzle. It's regarding the original issue. We not going back and forth about this or that, whether your word is bound or whack. Here's a big fat, yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, Big Mac, whether earth is round or flat. We want our shit back. Ain't fool is known by his speech, yet if I don't, I suffer defeat. Other than we, ain't stuck on me. Stand on 2 feet, one from the other. The wise man known by his silence. OG disguise compliance, science by clients. From conspiring to knowledge, other aspirants are finest. Tyrants are firing, trying to hide through height. I'm trying to fight. And if virus and micros, I'm hearing the sirens. Big in my head, they've got indictments. These pedophile squares, groupies and hyping. Alignments, the assignment. I'm not the wisest, I'm non-pliant. My refinement and confinement, the requirements for this climate. Y'all push all the paperwork, or y'all can protest, but they can't escape this work. I vow to progress, don't duck, no wreck, true music for real. My soul don't possess, real foolish with no deal. Ain't playing with none of them, it's personal, know what the business is. Big monsters come full circle, so vacate your premises. We're not going back and forth about this or that, whether your word is bound or whack. There's a big fat, yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, or Big Mac, whether earth is round or flat. We want our shit back. We're not going back and forth about this or that, whether your word is bound or whack. There's a big fat, yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, Big Mac, whether earth is round or flat. We want our shit back.
Nerd.
Akichiwa.
Oh, he wants to trip out. Yeah, I think it's doing something. Funny.
In my music, and in a lot of this music, it's only talking about the suppressed rising. I mean, the oppressed rising up against the oppressor. That's all. That's what my music's about. The oppressed rising up against the oppressor. So if only people that's scared are the oppressors, the only people who can have any harm coming to them are those who oppress. Simple as that.
3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. It's time for a change, gotta bounce up. The oppressor's about to get housed up. I'ma lay him out, execution style. Too late for an apologetic claim. You wrapped in a cloak of flame, by God, it's over. Doing your time is to the end. Locked out silent without sin. He put me on the planet for justice to win. The oppressor's about to get rolled down. With suppressors attached in a war zone. Revolution can start in the Arizona. I'm a messenger popping like Farrakhan. Backed by the honorable, who sits at the pinnacle. Who judges the hypocritical, cynical, and the plentiful sinful. My thinking is critical. I'm just ventilating of the actions of the protective service. Quick to pull the Glock, blast and kill. This don't take any type of skill. I'm ill of all citizens who haven't took a stand. Or kneels too late when the caps get bills. Doubling a TC type. Going hits close to home. You gotta act the bone, but it got the dome when it's on the zone. All red in my vision through sight. It's gonna be killed whenever I fight. From above, I'll be given the right. So you better be ready to ride tonight. All the way to the dawn daylight. We gon' let him off, so gon' pass the kite. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in the ideal sense. I mean in the, every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. You want to be successful? You want to be like Trump? Gimme, gimme, gimme. Push, 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 push. Step, step, step. Crush, crush, crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped.
Brothers Total Z and hey, what's going on, guys? I had to head out here and pick up this wood. I got to change it. Remember I was telling y'all I thought I had got 3 packs of 2x2s, right? And 1 pack of 1.5. I don't know what I was thinking, because I was looking at wood and I was looking at 1/4 inch, right? Because I'm surrounded with that, and then hit it with the polyurethane, fiberglass polyurethane, right? I painted about 3/4 of the tub, and I got to pick up some more paint so that way I can flip it over and start ribbing it and get the wings, get the trusses and everything like that, and then have that part and start building out for the, like I said, for my queen bed, I'm not going to use that as too heavy. It would be good for center of balance, but I'm going to frame that out with 2x2s as well, a reinforcement with 2x4s. So if you get where I'm coming from, framing it out, 2x4s, bolt, and that way it's going to be a little heavier. It'll probably be around 180 pounds. I can still get that up into the truck once I get that framed up. But the thing is, I still need to pick up supplies. So I want to make sure that my second, I have half a tongue oil and mineral, but I haven't received my second one. Something's weird going on, whatever that is. But I'm going to show you guys that today, and I'll do a little tomorrow, and I'll probably record that upload, because Sunday I start fasting intermittent, and I really want to focus, because we're breathing in aluminum, strontium. We're breathing in so many different forms of metals and stuff like that, and we're talking about airborne. And most of the waters, doesn't matter where they're treated at. In order to have these companies, you'd be surprised what they have to do. I looked into actually thinking about packaging, bottling water, and selling it myself. And when I realized what's required, I'm actually going to attempt to build something that can extract water from air myself and filter it through reverse osmosis using the sun and some other things. I've been looking into it. It's not complicated to build. It seems like I'm taking on a lot, but I'm not really. It's real simple stuff, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you just work it to accomplish it. At least other people can know, and it would be, hey, you can eat, right? But anyway, so as you see, as you can see on the title, Confederacy, authoctonus, America. I used the term black. That's the name I found. I could have created one. I said no, I'll run with that because most people's ignorance is based on white and black. And like they say or think it's in a book. First of all, the Confederacy. I'm gonna read some numbers, right? And roughly in the, I would say like 1920s, there were roughly about 100 million, 106 million people in America. What people don't know about from 18, but they want to make this first wave of Civil War. They want to say that, let's pull it up so I don't just throw numbers around, okay? I'm gonna type this in real quick. Okay. How many? So from the first wave of European immigrants to America refers to the period roughly from 1820 to 1880, during which approximately 10 million immigrants arrived. That's 1820 to 1880. But if you go back and you research it, they'll push the 1600s. That's why I keep telling people it was melanated people. We've been betrayed by people of our own stat after those countries are being taken over. It always goes back to the 6th century, which is the 1600s. Arthur Koestler is an excellent book. If you don't want to read it, then don't. All right. And I studied more into Arthur Koestler and his wife. They would have never committed suicide. So it's obvious, just like the young man that created the Mormon church and how it was taken over by the very individuals who were doing what they're doing in Palestine. The Bolsheviks, Zionism that came out of that. All right. I always ask a lot of light-skinned folks when they say throw something my way or melanated, dark melanated, right? Light melanated, dark melanated. They throw something my way. I say, well, look, study Bolshevism. Study when did Zionism become a thing? And then take that and look at the so-called last wars of the Ashkenaz when they converted to Judaism, which is nothing but off of Atlantis. It's a lifestyle. It's not a religion. And it's a lot of inclusions that have been brought in there that has nothing to do with one God, 20 gods, or anything. The one God is to set up the premises for their Hamashiach. All right, for their Hamashiach, which has nothing to do with what people have been led to believe. If you have been paying attention, all the rabbis in the knowing of Zionism will point out that they created Christianity and Islam, and not too downtrodden on the individuals running around who don't know who their ancestors were. Because I always ask people, how many generations can you go back? Me, I can go way back. Literally, on papers. And the majority can't go nowhere past 1850s, 1920s, 1940s. Now, why am I saying this? 10 million first wave, right? Let's look at the population roughly up at around 1920s and 30s. It was roughly around 106,021,537. Now, how many of that came here? Well, which was a 15% increase. Now you got to look at, all right, from 1910. Well, if we decide to research this stuff, we find that between the late 1800s and the mid 1900s, a significant influx of European immigrants, mostly white, arrived in the United States specifically from 1880 to 1920, more than 20 million. And subsequently, it would roughly get 1930s around 32 million. That's 42 million out of 106. And they would say that's because of the babies and that. Look at the numbers of the Cabbage Patch, the incubator babies, worldwide. Not just here in America. Look at the ones in Europe. We had these things all over. I have a couple of brothers who are European at first, from UK, said, y'all didn't create the Big Bang clock. I was like, oh, yes, we did. Why don't you just research it, brother? Stop allowing them to teach you the lie to convince you in a false existence. And then they come back with the name, and I give a picture, and they go, oh. I'm like, yeah. I says, do you know why the London Bridge fell down? Which it didn't, but the buildings that were on it were destroyed. You need to research that history. It was the last enclave, one of the last strongholds of the melanated people of Europe, of UK. They researched that, and surprisingly, they come to find out, oh, there is some history on it. And they go, oh, so they mean they killed all them black folk? Africans? Like, stop it with that. The word Africa didn't even exist then. Okay? It didn't exist. I cannot make you believe something based on what you've been indoctrinated in. I cannot change that. I can just share the information and you research it. Most people won't. Y'all saw the post I put up with this individual, right? These people, and I went to his channel, right? And he has a page, Jews aren't Ashkenazi. Fool, they married into my family like they did so many others. Don't tell me because the Abkhazarians of the true Khazars had nothing to do with them. The identity of the Ashkenazis is not even known. They're not Semitic. You know, you got these individuals who run around in their diatribe who don't know nothing. Just like the Confederacy. The first Confederate flag, our flag had cannons on it. Another one had Shiloh, Black Allure, and all the different four of the Fighting 18. It had nothing to do with these monkeys that came off the boats. All right. When I say monkeys, I'm talking about people who would assume our relationship, our identity, our truth. Those were monkeys that would do what the Zionists pertain at the time up until the 1930s were doing, as you see them doing over there, dismissing the Palestinians. The most frugal thing to do. You know, the goofy woman that runs around, well, it's not even Palestine, it's not their land, and It's funny how they in everybody's face keep changing history. And the most worst thing, if you look at their little Torah, which they created, you'll see that everything they're doing is not of the true Semitic people. Now, is there Hamitic, Semitic, and Japhetic? Of course, by the narrative. What does it allude to? It doesn't allude to unless people think it does. So we look at the numbers and we crunch the numbers. Hello? There's a reason why Muhammad Ali stated, Mr. out of Kentucky, said, you know, Africans can go into those places that said whites only. And that's a fact. I even have pictures of Africans sitting, so-called white folks during the racist Jim Crow era, eating at their restaurants, drinking out of the white water fountains. I'm talking about people as dark as midnight. I'm talking about people black. Because the subjugation of the land must be against the people who actually belong to it. The way of life up into the 1960s and 70s. Our people were righteous, as they are still in the families. Only 1% of our population is the most criminal. 1%. But yet, because everybody panders to them, this is what we deal with on a regular. Yeah, well, you have Germany. Oh, shut up. You know, that the lamest excuse by men who want to have a dialect or an argument. And most of the ones that I ever come across act like worse than women, and women are mighty. The ones who know who they are. You know, the strength. We are the power, and this is exemplary. One complements the other. All right, there we go. The Confederate flag is ours. We were the Confederacy. The 5 civilized tribes, they made that to inoculate us with people who were not of the land, and the ones who wore it took on the appearance like, Nina Horn, and so on and so on. There's millions of melanated Negroes passing for white. Millions. I've proved it, and nobody wants to go out and research it. You go to Georgia, you go to Florida, you go to trailer parks. You can sit around these people with these nice, juicy little lips, blue-green eyes, whatever, blonde hair, pale skin, and ask them, hey, where's your documents? And they will come out, and it's changing because, this government, they're saying, yeah, we had a couple of African Americans, and that's the bloodline. So I was, well, why would the government put Negro down or black down on their documents? See, the fallacy isn't me putting the information out. The fallacy is that people still are holding on contextually to the lies. How can a lot of people run around calling themselves redneck when redneck had everything to do with the coal miners wearing red scarves and red and white scarves around their necks? There are millions of pictures. I'm just saying millions. I'm exaggerating. Okay. When you take the time to look these things up, you'll be surprised if you go from the 1830s and 50s, right? And you decide to go and look at even when racism wasn't a thing, all right? Up until the 1950s, excuse me. You got to remember when the coal craze in Texas and Oklahoma went, Shreveport was the first so-called black, literally owned oil rigs. But what's funny is that when you start researching the history, just like the Brooklyn Bridge and so forth, we painted them, we walked high on them. A lot of the Negroes today are scared of heights. Why? Was just like a lot of them are scared to swim. But if you look in the documents, you realize our people were great swimmers, swimming the Mississippi, fixing our steamboats, walking up on the Brooklyn Bridge to paint it, working in the high scaffolds. There's only one picture of a Native American working in New York and Manhattan, working on, one of the skyscrapers. And he was more or less Italian, but we're going to leave it at that, or Sicilian. But all you got to do is go from 1869 to 1926. And all you're going to see is Negroes on all the oil rigs, all of them. But even though they want to undergird and say they only are in the coal mines, they only did these sub jobs. Well, if you know how the banking system and they work, then you'll start having a realization of this. Now, this individual, everybody wants to hold on to the straight hair factor and the fair skin as it being the world oligarch. So what Putin did, because every one of them know that this is going to be the end before the next new world order. New world order means something. He exposed a real history. Religious icons, the Black Madonna, which even the Jews in Spain and, moved around. When I was in South America, I saw very dark, and somebody was attempting to say, yeah, but it was fires and soot. And no, literally. And there are those that feel like if they give up their position now, that they'll lose everything. That's the mind of a narcissist. And I am not here to change that. But what I want to do is tolerate the self-insubordination and ignorance at the highest level of people's stupidity. Because I always ask, well, what was before that? And you know what they say? It's the way it was. These people know nothing about real world history. Nothing. I'm talking about in all color spectrums, all ethnicities, all places. And it's very, very sad. And then they wonder why they're in the position they're in. I watch these Jewish journalists who have YouTube channels, about 5 of them, walking through Ramallah and all those places. And even they are warned that they too will be shot. Who does that? What military, what army says it's okay? That's not our way. That is not a righteous way, a righteous heart. It's even in the Bible, even in the Torah. It's all there. You know, they didn't just freehand all that. They had to use real world affairs and events and manipulate and change them. If you can't accept that, then why are you breathing? You know, I love to see when people quote the Bible to me, and I'm like, okay, well, tell me about who's the progenitor of who. And that's where they get dumbfounded, and they want to go to Quora. I said, but if Ham's the progenitor of the dark races, the Egyptians, the Syrians, but not the Negro, then who is the Negro? See, this is where people lack self-responsibility. I'm not here to prove anything. I just want to be able to sit down and have a conversation with individuals who know. And they want to write off, what's the African American? Oh, the feds push that. Anyone who's anybody knows that Jesse Jackson worked for the FBI and probably the OSS and the CIA. And that's what they do. They don't just go into countries and murder set up people to fight and murder one another. They go in there and they get with education systems. They set up the banking and all the banking cartels and all that to control and monopolize the people for land and everything else. Look at the Palestinians. They had a great grand farming. And the first thing those frauds went over there did was set up buildings and kill with poison and garbage all that farming land. You know, what's even funnier is I'm putting together 3 videos of Jewish settlers telling you who they are. And someone say, yeah, those are the Jews in Morocco and Tunisia and . These are converts. They will say it. They're Yemenites. They're Lebanese. They're all these different things. Japanese, Chinese. But they're not us. And there are American Negroes over there in the military. With the IDF, killing Palestinians because they're stupid and they lack resources and responsibility and facts and truth. They run based off of, Charleston Heston and Liz Taylor and all that fake narrative. They converted to Judaism, believing themselves to be the Jews based off the black movement of, how many of y'all know about, let me see, I don't think I have it on here, the Moorish Jews in New York back in the early 1900s. How many of y'all know about them? I used to visit the building. Chicago, Delaware, Detroit. See, nobody knows this stuff, but everybody wants to argue a case that doesn't have a way of opening it or closing it. It's just a case. If people want to stay with that, being a redneck, as if it applies to being pale skin or white, or they want to hold on to the Confederate flag, which was hijacked, taken from us and manipulated, you can go to South America. It's well known who it belonged to. The American Negro, James Baldwin, I am not your Negro, telling you, look at the Mickey Rooney Westerns, him killing the Indians when you didn't know you were the Indians. Martin Luther King's great I Have a Dream speech, and here we find the Negro languishing in, societies in the corners of America in his own land. I don't care about him doing the dumb stuff he did. They all doing it. Okay? You got Benny Hanna. He's an American Palestinian. Yes, the man swinging his jacket, making people fall down, And what's the other one? What's that other nasty creature? What's the other other guy? Kenneth Copeland. I'm a Jew who's backed by a richer Jew. He's got like what, 300 million? But look, people want to believe what they want to believe. All right, I don't even want to get into TD Jakes, okay? Kenneth Copeland, Benny Hanna, Jay Olstein. He's mega rich. You know, you walk into, he's got like a library of books to sell and stuff. And he wasn't even a religious individual. He even stated on one of the talk shows he's that back in the early 2000s. But people want to believe in their lie. And why would you dismiss anything that puts you on a pedestal? Only the true righteous ones will. And yet you still have these individuals who don't know nothing. They will fight tooth and nail and use every lie, that pseudo nonsense, to dismiss what may be factual. You know, it's mind-boggling, isn't it? Mind-boggling. When we're driving around, I got a Confederate flag, hats, jackets, like Nas, t-shirts. I mean, people are great. They like, they know. Oh, they know. But you got to remember, they have this symposium that's out here to ostracize, strike down, and make sure that you don't know who you are. Umar plays a part in that. I remember him even one time pointing out the fact that, Africans were here before everybody else. The term itself, you might as well just start calling yourself all kind of pronouns, you know? Let me shout y'all out. DJ, what's up? Using this country is a short form of Christian. Anointed one from the Greek word pistos, also be interpreted as right from. Okay. So reading that name by the teacher, damn right. Hey Joshua. Yeah, Mr. Jack. Yeah, he was a piece of work, man. That was a go-to. Hey Sharon. Where are you from? I don't know. Where are you from? Oh, Mag, was that Millennials, what's up, Mom? Yep, Christianity fraction out of Judaism, as Islam fraction out of Christian. Yes, and 3 divisions. And the Punic Wars. Oh, yeah, you got it down there, absolutely. Hey, Lizard. I tried it, so I shall stay past 8%, but okay, cool. Yeah, I know I shaved up, right? Survive. Hey, that's what we do. We got to do more than survive, though. Absolutely. Oh, Mo, what's up? I got you. Let's see who's up in here. But yeah, I'm good. A while ago, I hope return the favor of others. Respect. Hey, quality though. What's happening? What's going on? I can't watch because I have no. Oh, you found it though. So good. But like I said, you know, yeah, it's good to have you back all the weekend to be rock low to sleep. Most people want to argue and fight, and look, I invited the individual. I said, hey, look, man, I'm going to be going live. Come in here and throw your little spittle all over the place. Go right ahead. I'm not emotional, and I read it, and what we can circumvent it. We can say, hey, and I can give you sources and references and information, and it's up to you if you want to research it. But if you want to hold on to your fictional stance and who you are, that's like most brothers walk with a little limp. You know, they call it the cool walk. That's the Cherokee walk by people who want to use that term, Cherokee. Even that's a change. That's a word that never existed. That's a state name. It has nothing to do with the original, the people of Anahuia. Has nothing to do with them. As there is everything about them, you know? There weren't no pale skins here like that. In our families, it was different. Those who lived by us took over the land, blah, 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 war, people dying, raped our women, da, 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 da. Facts. We're talking about in the 1800s, not some goofy 14, 16, all that nonsense. All that is nonsense. 1400s, just like when we talk about Christopher Columbus. No, there was no other name until we started talking about the true name, Salvador, right? When we start talking about that, it's Christopher Columbus changed his name to Salvador. All of a sudden it pops up, you look at the date and time, it's like, 2020 something. I'm sitting there going, they can't help themselves. That's how diseased and decrepit they are. No Hebraic, no true Judean or Atlantean would murder children or would make or cause and program and condition those to believe it's all right and acceptable. There are IDF soldiers who are right now committed suicide, who pretty much lost their mind because of what they had to do. They somewhere in their head is spiked up and say, oh, something ain't right with this. But then you have those, most people don't know what it's like. You put somebody down and be able to walk away. And then have those around, the bandwagon led around mentality. Well, I'm gonna ride with it because everybody else around me's doing it. So, those are weak individuals. They're nothing. Nobodies. They want to be somebody because they're already nobody. Instead of being who they're supposed to be, they think what what's being facilitated is what they're supposed to be. That's a real mental disorder. A serious one, The Hague, yeah. Riddles in the dark. And look what's the Hague? What is the Hague now, right? All the women erased from history. Exactly. Powerful women. Until certain families come up talking about Haiti and Cuba and this, that, and the magnificent, wondrous stuff they did in the context of their dark melanin. They want that eradicated. You cannot exist in the New World Order. We are not the same. Though I would defend any of my African brothers and sisters to the last breath and the last drop. Our cousins, all right? My Arab brothers, not those religious ones running around murdering and killing anybody. Islam and shut your goofy ass up. No, I don't want to see you being slaughtered either. What got you in this predicament of hate with all these narratives, all right, created by the very individuals. It's already been proven. I have the pictures of ISIS fighters dead, ripped apart with Delta Force tattoos and Jewish tattoos. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to put that video together and I'm going to get it up. I'm probably going to put it with members. I got to get my laptop out, but it's so hot. So tomorrow's supposed to rain about 40%. So maybe I'll bring it up and I'll plug it in. I found the battery. Kind of expensive. Anyway, but I found a new battery, so I don't have to keep it plugged up to use it. But I want to get in there, get the Patreon thing set up, so that way we're clear. You know what I'm saying? You guys come on Patreon, and we can really, really get in some stuff. I just wanted to come on and to speak with a few words on those things, on those topics. Like if you got to do a whole dance routine, a whole skit, a whole tap dance show, a whole vaudeville, yeah, if you got to do all that, it's meaningless. I'm not here to prove anything. There are sources, there are references, there's books from the 1800s that talk America and about the indigenous, autochthonous people here. Some of those books, a lot of you could, 25,000. Now you can't afford it. But it tells you exactly who you are. And you would think that someone would have gotten together, Umar was stealing everybody's money, would have purchased the book. But no, it's hard for him. An actual book from that time period that has survived, that was actually being burnt up and destroyed. Family still had them and held on to them. It was that important. Now they're expensive. You can't afford it, but it exists. I didn't do it. I knew my great-great uncles that fought in that fake-ass Civil War. I knew it rednecking period. It has nothing with all these Pelicans coming here in the 1900s talking about I'm a redneck and I'm waiting. No, y'all made up a word called cracker. That was a word, and it wasn't like a racist word. There are videos with the people calling themselves that. People have a hard time in lieu of a Quaker. This mishmash, you just saw it. You saw it with the last administration of liars, with the homosexual stuff. And people say, well, Red, what do you think about most of those people are gay? Well, a lot of people, Fleece William, never really got to know a woman, and, you had a lot of them rapes and stuff like that in prison, just like POW camps. Our people were never that way. Now you have a lot of melanated Europeans walking around just like us, think they're just like us, and they're not like us at all. Nothing like it. Okay? Now, these Zionists know that. I know a plethora of Jews who can't stand Zionists. Can't stand them. They would go to war against them. But they control your government. They control the weakest individuals ever exist, and that's your governments. I don't know how you get these bastards in there. Well, they're rich. Well, that's programming. Rich looks like a better lifestyle. No, in order to be that way, you got to do some things, some strange for the change. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's very sad. You know? But he come over and look, but he won't say nothing. I like to see people learn some truth. Yes. Again, if you come over here with all that Cushite African goofy stuff, I'm American Indian. My father, Chickasaw of the Choctaw, the Yama Nation, giant killer. Just like that. Mother, Anahuia, German. Well, my father, yes, on that side's Chinese too. Yeah, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I wasn't sitting there coercing somebody, hey, you need to go over here and lay in this bed, and then Johnny gonna come run over to you, Lily, Wu, and my land, and Christina Ing, and rock out some babies. It's not how it works. I wasn't there to do it, okay? There was real love, the ambience of it, all right? Just as it is today. Even though there's a lot of idiots in costumes running around pushing out their racist antics because they're stupid, I'm not here to change that either. I don't worry about today. The idiots will do dumb things. You don't have to. And trust in me when I tell you, you don't have to. Are there those who are going to fight? Absolutely. And they're gonna mess up a whole lot of folk. They're very aware of what's going on. Okay? They don't have cell phones. They don't have laptops and tablets and notebook things. They don't have none of that stuff. They don't have TVs. None of it. Okay? And they're ready. Sadly. But people are going to continue to do what they do. That's the reason why they want to destroy everybody. They want everybody, when they hype the frequency up, they want people to lay down. When they decide to, at the warehouse, to pull out certain batches and put them on them aisles like they do on a regular, people are going to get the listeria. They're going to get all these parasites. They're going to get sick. They're going to get violently sick. You see it in a very small frame, which is pretty large. But that's what they do. They know they can't come out right and start running around and boom, 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 boom. The people who partake in it, though, they're all settlers. What do you think colonialism is? Colonizing. Colonial. Colonize. You just add a A-L, right? I-L. Colonial. Colonizing. You just change it up. Like you got a word, and then you put an ism and an ish and you can't make this stuff up. Still figuring it out. It's like a puzzle with a million. Yeah, but it's simple. Crazy history and strong. Absolutely. What was that, D? Oh, okay. The power of women and the strength of men. The strength of women and the power of men. The strength of women. The woman's got to be strong to put up with, to tolerate the things she do. Having a baby, da. Ain't no way. Man's not built for that. All right? But a man is very powerful if they're walking in their truth. Like I said, we're at our lowest of existence, the majority. All right? The lowest of their existence. That's why they can mitigate these factors before destruction. That's why they're poisoning everybody. And to them, some would say, oh, it's a way to do it. It's, you know, we're going to kill you, but you're going to be. That's not who we are. But we will always stand up people that stood up for what's right. You know, when we think about the sister, all right, who didn't do nothing, she was speaking against a man being lynched, like I said, an old man. So what they do? They took her, they set her on fire, her skin falling off, they hung her upside down, they cut the baby out of her. Another one came and stepped on his head. Yeah, we're supposed to sit by and go, oh, that's okay in our history. That's one out of thousands. And then people go walk around, racism, that's real. Man, shut up. People are very tired. Like beyond it. The Zionists know what they're doing. But you'd be surprised that our people do as well. Sadly, it has to happen. That's why I say, be very careful. Be very careful. Okay? Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off because he didn't want to come over here and open his little funky mouth and say something. You know, I know he's looking. I know he feels some kind of way, outed, embarrassed, little goofy account with retarded stuff on it. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that don't make no sense. You know what I mean? It's another, yes, at least some of us. Well, the thing is, there are good people, all walks of life. You know, that's why I can't stand race, ethnicities, colors, and all that other stuff. I'm just very aware that there have been people conditioned and groomed all the way around. It changes by individuals paying attention, seeing things for what they are instead of what's been laid out. See that as well, but make the better choices, you know? Every time one wants to argue something, I always say, well, what have you accomplished? What did you do? Give me a historical background. Give me the sources, references, keynotes, and everything else. If you got bullet points, throw them my way. And they don't do nothing. Yeah, people look at me now, yeah, okay, well, yeah, you are an American Indian. You're Native. Oh, shut up. I'm so tired of people in there lack of daisy. You know, you got somebody had posed a question, right? He says, yo, James, do you think that's Jamie Foxx? Jamie Foxx made it very big when he got his tattoo on his head. The tattoo's not there. That can't be Jamie. Are clones real? Absolutely. Test tube babies, we had them working wearing sneakers, working with us, a couple of them. Nope, the belly button looked weird. You know, there's a lot of things nobody knows about. They wouldn't be doing what they're doing if they didn't know something. I keep saying, God killers, ghosts in the machine, blah, blah, blah. By the definition of the terms people utilize to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Front of the race is deeper than that. Yeah, I know that. I'm pointing it out because I'm the one doing the video. Brother. All right, fam. But the thing is, most people, the majority of individuals are pulled one direction or another. It's really sad. Most people are pulled in this direction and pulled in this direction. It's like some people probably just don't want to be free. I know they do the red pill, blue pill, but I forget the red pill, blue pill. That's cognitive. Oh man, listen, that keeps people stuck in their factory. I say, you know what? Take the green pill if you gotta have one. You know what I mean? I know, brother, but I find it amazing. Right now, I look at the sky, and I think it was a few days last week when the sky, you could actually see it was blue. They are so busy congesting the air that you breathe. They are pushing it hard. When I was down in Cerro Vista yesterday, I looked out over at the mountains, right? Not over this way, but on the other side, and the skies were just crystal blue. I was like, oh man, it must be where it must be the army base over that way. And I said, man, I grew up. I got pictures. You can see the sky in the background, crystal blue. They are so busy with death. In order to be like that, it means obviously they must be part of sacrifices and everything else. That nobody just wants to get up and kill. That just doesn't work that way. Okay? So I really want y'all to take the time, individuals who are finding books, and they're putting it out there, research the information. Those who don't know, if you believe in something different, Allow yourself a little freedom of thought. It doesn't put us on a pedestal. This fake government don't want to reward us with anything. We don't need a reward from them. We built this country. We built it because it belongs to us, and we to it. When no damn slaves are built. Where they get the knowledge? All our inventions. If we were to take back everything, people would be walking around in their drawers. That's it. All right? The world would be walking around in their drawers, in their undergarments. And those are facts. Wouldn't be no refrigerants, air conditioners, wouldn't be no elevators, no vehicles, no airplanes, blimps. They hijacked that. So Goodyear and Firestone. But we destroyed the Hindenburg over in Linden, New Jersey. It was sabotage, and they had plenty of other blimps, and they were magnificent, never had an issue. Who did it? Well, there you go. People don't want to see it for what it is. You know? But I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'm not here to argue any points. I wanted to just put my little 10 cents of what I've been doing for so long, and I used to sit there and talk to people for hours about stuff like this, and I was like, it ain't getting nowhere. People don't want to hear that. So I was like, you know what? Let me just keep it a little concise, right to the point. Confederacy, us, the flag, we created it. I don't care about the hijack. Pretty much everything else. Redneck has nothing to do with being pale skinned. It's a damn towel around your neck. It was red, or maybe a couple other colors. Most of the time it was red. Somebody have a cave in, you go in there, we got a red scarf over here. Redneck, again, has nothing to do with being pale skinned. And most of those people weren't even here in the goddamn 1800s at all. They were here in the 1900s, claiming something because of, you know, let's die time. Burnt, sunburnt, my neck's red. Well, it's not my problem. I'm not the hijacker. I'm not the pseudo. I don't take on this, that, and other. I'm the one who had relatives showing Mr. Reynolds how to cultivate tobacco. And then after they pass away, all of a sudden it's getting all over 100 chemicals on it so it can mess you up and make you addicted. And They used to push it to the children, you know, up into the 60s. I used to watch the commercials. Damn, I want a cigarette. I want to be the Marlboro man. We're the original cowboys. Prove me wrong. They want to say, oh, I come from Spain. Oh, suck it up. And they said the Moors taught them over there. Then they wanted to make people believe that these people conquered them and that they were light-skinned. And you come to find out those individuals that fought the Moors over there were also dark-skinned, of an Arabic persuasion. Arab, by the definition. Very dark at that. You know, if people want to hold on to the fictional world and allow the new world order and themselves to subsequently be eradicated, then so be it. Bye. When you're doing this, and I'm like this, I don't think I have any emotions. Because I couldn't feel my face. I just looking. I think counting. It is what it is. Yeah. Hey, Patricia. What are you doing saying hi? We saying hi up in here. You just come in here and salutations, unless somebody hijack your account. We don't use the word hi. It's a spellcast. Anyway, I got to run in town and pick up my wood. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to old folk like me. I truly do. Okay? You want to see it? All right, let me see. Check this out. Woo! That's that tub, boy. Which way? I'll build that bug out. Look at the walls on and everything. Get the little leaflets out. Get them sturdy. You know what I'm saying? Go up in there and start insulation, Let me stop being silly. Yeah, Patricia, we know you, huh? Yeah, come on, sis. You part of the family. Come on now. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go out here and get my stuff. And I might see y'all later. All right. Well, let's real quick, because I need to get up out of here. So I've been on here for an hour. I want to get off here. I could talk about a number of words. I've talked about it before. So in here, the greeting hi likely evolved from earlier exclamations used to attract attention, similar to hey. How many of y'all have watched witch movies and stuff, right? And they go, hey, blow stuff in their face. Hi. And before you know it, or the wife putting the menstrual cycle in the chili. Hi, baby. It's like making sure that they have you totally. It's like enter and containment. Hi. It's not like this, like bye. You see what I'm saying? And it goes off a little further. That's one. Just one. I'll talk about a few more later on. And again, I'm going to say it again for the hard heads in the room. Zionism is everyone's problem. Everyone. You're not slow. Doesn't matter. I got patience, and we have nothing but time. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. I wish home dude would have spoke up in his but again, appreciate your sisters, brothers, and I'll see you guys later. Make sure you share this. Hey, you see how quick I did that, man? I'm sitting here.